Hello everybody. So here are three stocks that I'm going to introduce you today that I've been actively trading. First one is Schlumberger. This company is the world's largest oil field services company, and they employed about 100,000 people around the world in more than 85 countries, and they represent 140 nationalities. So, this company is pretty big with a market cap of $48 billion. So, and they've been paying a constant dividend of zero point 0.5 year to year, every quarter. So, if you look at this spreadsheet real quick, that I just minimized, they pay about 6% um, yield. And as you can see, on the chart here, they've been up from $40 all the way down to about, 34 to today. They've been going, you know, to sub 30, recently, and then now it shot back up by about 7%. The first dip was around August 27th, and that's when it first caught my attention regarding to this stock. I was like, "Whoa, this stock, this is a pretty big company with some, a lot of potential, to grow in the future, not just dividend wise. So if you pick it up at a, decent price, I think 30 is uh, you know, their threshold. So, I think they never went down below 30. They touched 30, sub 30, and then they bounced back up. So I think that's the safety line that they had. But obviously, I'm not a financial advisor by all means. I'm just a regular investor who are looking for good dividend payout on these stocks. And you know, the stock, there's definitely potential growth opportunity. So I sold my position of Schlumberger today at around 33 dollars and 68 cents, which I kind of regretted afterwards because the market kept going up during today as of October 22nd, 2019. So I don't know how the market will react tomorrow. Will it be a huge sell-off after today's gain? I don't know. But the stock, as I mentioned, is a $90, almost $100 stock back in 2017, and now it's definitely lost a substantial amount of percentage wise in regards to being this big of a company and still you know going down that much. But this company definitely has a lot of money, so they won't be going bankrupt in like the next few years or anything. So this is something that I think is a good recommendation, something to pay attention to. Even though if the stock goes down, you know that there will be still dividend paying every quarter back to you, and you just basically wait until the stock goes back up, and then you sell it for a profit, or you want to keep adding position to it as dividend pays. So it depends how you want to invest. I never typically want to keep the stock because I just want to pocket the gain when I can. So that's how I invest. But different people invest has different strategy. So the next stock in here I'm talking about is AT&T. Um, as you can see, AT&T has grown progressively during this year from sub $30 a share to all the way to 38. So I bought it back at 30, but I sold it around 33, and then I bought it again at around 33, and then just recently sold it again at $38. Today's 38.03. So this stock does pay a quarterly dividend as well. They paid a 0.5% um, quarterly, so you get about more than 5% yield on the stock as well at $37. So I think any price under 35 is a good deal for the stock. Depend And they recently purchased HBO for a lot of money, and a lot of the investors are frowning upon that, and they've been getting a hit, early on this year, because they consumed a lot of debt. But given the size of AT&T, I think they will become profitable within the next 5 or 10 years. But given that they do pay a steady dividend, and their dividend also has grown through years, so there's it's not bad. The third stock that I wanted to show you guys is LB Brands, and this stock owns this is a parent company. So if I Google here, they own Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works. So a lot of people are worrying about how the stock, a lot of people are not going to malls, brick and mortars. But this is a big company. We're talking about $4.5 billion market cap. If you go to summary here, um, so this stock is not a small brand. So you compare it to Gap and Abercrombie and American Eagle. This brand does hold is is value. So at $17, it's a pretty good yield with 7% yield on your money. So they paid a point 0.3 dividend every quarter, and I think this is a good stock to trade if you are willing to wait a little bit on this. So if you go back to these three stocks that I'm talking about, these are all relatively good yield dividend. If you go on the first line here, Schlumberger 0.5% yield, just showing you how dividend works if you don't know. So 0.5, so they pay 0.5 quarterly. So if you, for example, if you buy $34 a share, and then you times that by 100, it will cost you 3,482 dollars for 100 shares, and then they pay out $50 each quarter. And then so if you times that by 4, 50 times 4, it will equal out to 200. So I'm just showing you the math here. So with this $50, so you times that by the dividend yield times the number of share, and then you times that by 4, since there's 4 quarters in 1 year. So each year you get 200 if you buy 100 shares basically. And then if you divide the dividends over the total price, you get the yield. So Schlumberger is about 5.74%, which isn't bad, on your money. And if you pick it up, with for $33 and went up to like 35, you can pick up a decent amount of change. And if you're talking about dividends, one company that you can look at is SUNOCO. They actually paid a point 0.8, I believe like 0.826 dividend, and that's a substantial amount of money every quarter that they pay out for $32 a share. If you're just solely into dividend. But I'm not a fan of SUNOCO because I never fill up at a SUNOCO actually, because usually their gases around my area is pretty high. Their stock do fluctuate a lot, based on the oil prices, as you can see, through the year, back in 2004, and when the oil, skyrocketed it due to the war and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely, do your own research, and this is one stock that on top of my head that I know that they paid and a handsome dividend of 0.822 something. So that's a substantial amount of dividend you're pocketing every year. But I don't know how they're doing with financially in Sunoco. I know 1.53 earning per share is pretty low. So I know 1.53 earnings is pretty low. So it's something that you should pay attention to. And back to this chart here, LB brands, they you know it's 17 bucks a share, which isn't too bad. And given it's for $1,773, you're getting $120 back every year, yielding to 6%, 6.77% yield. That's not bad. So obviously, with the stock prices goes down to like say 16, your yield would go down. Your yield would go up because you'll be making more per your dollar. So when these three stocks goes down, I usually add more position to my portfolio, just to get the dividend. And as the stock prices goes up and it's more reasonable for me to sell than pocketing the dividend, then I will pull the trigger to sell, uh, then rather than pocketing the dividend, because sometimes usually right before the ex-dividend date, the stock prices will skyrocket, but then, the day after the ex-dividend, the stock plummets because everyone who, holds the stock before on the dividend X date, they can still pocket the upcoming dividend. So just some, advice that I can give you. If you guys, have any other questions regarding these three stocks, feel free to comment below. And I usually check my YouTube comments pretty frequently. And if you have any other stock suggestions that you guys have, please also, leave a comment below and I'll take a look at it. And please subscribe and like this video. This will help a lot as I grow my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all.